Welcome to Mischief Wargaming. I'm John, and this is Blood Bowl. To close out the first round of the Mischief Cup, we have the Imperial Nobility team, the Dunderhaven Dukes, facing the Hexoatl Sun Warrior Lizardmen team. Let's look at the starting rosters for both teams. First up are the Dukes. The Nobility are a little tougher than regular human teams, with a bunch of defensive skills like Fend, which I hopefully remember to use this time, Stand Firm and Wrestle. The bodyguards form the bulk of the team's muscle. With good armour, stand firm and wrestle, they are in a fairly solid position to hold up against the opposing offence. However, the blunt object replacing the tip of the spear is the Ogre. How an Ogre managed to be considered nobility is anyone's guess, but there are rumours he bought his name and title, which might explain why he's known as Sir Ben Ben Ben. Noble heritage aside, what is not in doubt is his effectiveness at smashing heads in. The team may struggle with rerolls, only having one, but that's a risk that they have to take. The Hexoatl Sun Warriors are said to be blessed by the Lizardmen's sun god Chotek, hence their orange hue. How that affects their skill at Blood Bowl remains to be seen, but the team does bring in the heavy muscle with 6 Saurus blockers. Saurus are some of the best starting players in the game, with good, strong stat lines, surprisingly good movement, and no negative traits. If anything, their only real weakness is the lack of starting skills. However, with 6 of them, they have the potential to outfight even the Borderland Bloodseekers. Although after last game, perhaps the Greenshire Greats are the ones to fear. Supporting the Saurus are 4 Skink Runners and a Chameleon Skink. Lizardmen aren't a complex team. Saurus do the punching, Skinks handle the ball. If either are doing the job of the other, panic because something's gone wrong. The Sun Warriors do start with an extra reroll over the Dukes, which will help mitigate the lack of skills from the Saurus. The pre-game rolls weren't filmed, but the weather looks perfect. Neither team can make any prayers for Nuffle, as they both have the same team value, and the Dunderhaven Dukes won the coin toss, electing to kick first. With the team set up, the ball is kicked. Before the kickoff event is rolled, Nuatspa, the Chameleon Skink, makes a quick move thanks to his on-the-ball skill. The kickoff event is changing weather, but the conditions remain perfect, which means the ball scatters before landing. The Sun Warriors are immediately on the offensive as Crixaz Tli throws a block at Dirk. For the first few turns I do keep messing up Fend and Stand Firm, but I think I catch myself fairly quickly. Yotsul Yi blocks Reginald Cobblepot. But doesn't break his armour. Akan Cho then takes a swing at Edward Terrid Price. Nearly beating his armour, but not quite. Glottal Tor then attacks Oscar Haymeyer Black, but achieves nothing. Cottle Chark blitzes Geoffrey Cavendish Jones III. But the noble is unharmed. Nuatspa then makes a break for the ball, needing to burn a team reroll already just to pick it up. Chrono, Olmox, and Hitzo move into position, with Olmox needing to pass a dodge roll, which he does with ease. Then Kroak Zayup takes a chance and makes an even block against Sir Ben, but the gamble doesn't pay off with an attacker down result. Luckily for the ambitious Saurus, the ogre doesn't break his armour, but this does cause a turnover. To begin the Duke's turn, Dirk, Terrid Price and Cobblepot Lee all stand up. Rosie Whittington Down and Oscar Haymayer Black move up. So too does Harold Potter Smith II and Cavendish Jones. Walter Taffington Wheatley then blitzes Nuatspa. Both dice show a both down result, and the Dukes, unwilling to spend their only reroll this early, lets it happen. Making the Sun Warriors drop the ball is more important at this stage. The armour roll beats the Chameleon's armour, and another 11 on the injury roll causes a casualty. A third 11, this time on the casualty roll, means that Nuatspa suffers a serious injury. The skink will pick up a niggling injury and will miss the next game. In return, Walter is stunned, a worthy trade indeed. This does cause a turnover though. Turn 2 begins with Kroak Zayup standing up, before Kotelchark throws a block at Elizabeth Gordon Pike. The retainer stumbles, but her armour holds. Crixaz Tully then blocks Dirk. The bodyguard also stumbles, but this time his armour fails him, stunning him. Yotsul Yi does the same to Cobblepot Lee. Stunning him too. Glottal Tor has less luck when he blocks Randall Cavendish IV, only pushing the blitzer around. Akan Cho rounds out the Sun Warriors' offence with a block on Terrid Price. Edward stumbles, but the Saurus fails to break his armour. With the punching out of the way, the Skinks spring into action, as Heatslow dodges away from the Dukes and picks up the ball. Zir gets into position, while Chrono needs to use their dodge reroll. Lastly, Olmox dodges away with no issue to end the Lizardmen turn. The Dukes start off by turning over Taffington Wheatley, Dirk and Cobblepot Lee. Gordon Pike and Terrid Price both stand up. Cavendish Jones and Whittington Down move into position. This lets Haymayer Black blitz Zare. However, the Skink's dodge skill saves him from stumbling. Pottersmith and Havendish both move up. Sir Ben then blocks Kroak Zayup. The ogre passes his bonehead roll and proceeds to send the Saurus flying. The lizard's armour holds strong though, ending the Duke's turn. Turn 3 and the Sun Warriors make sure Kroak Zayup stands up. Crixaz then blitzes Geoffrey Cavendish Jones III, but disaster, as both down and attacker down results are rolled. The Sun Warriors use their last reroll of the half, and the block is more successful. However, the bodyguard's armour holds out. Hitzo then dodges away from the nobles. Glottal Tor then blocks Havendish. Stumbling the Blitzer. His armour breaks, leaving Randall stunned. Freed up, Yotzul Yi then moves into position. Akan Cho then blocks Edward Terrid Price, but does nothing since the bodyguard's stand firm prevents him from being pushed around. Lastly, Kotelchark, Zer and Chrono move up. The Dukes begin with Randall Havendish IV turning over, recovering from his stun. Walter, Dirk, Geoffrey and Reginald then all stand up, while Whittington Down and Haymayer Black get into position. Sir Ben then passes his bonehead roll and blocks Kroak Zayup again, this time only pushing the Saurus back. Elizabeth Gordon Pike then blocks Kotelchark. With some assistance, it's an even roll, which knocks the blocker down. However, she doesn't break through the tough armour. Harold Pottersmith II then tries to dodge, but he fails. The Dukes use their only reroll to pass the check, and the retainer blitzes Hitzo. With a push and a both down result rolled, the Dukes again elect to take the both down result. Knocking the ball loose is more important than the safety of the retainers. Both players are unharmed and the ball is free, but a turnover is caused. The Sun Warriors start turn 4 by standing their downed players up. Yotzul Yi then blitzes Taffington Wheatley. Causing the retainer to stumble, but his armour holds. Olmox then makes a break for the ball, picking it up easily. Chrono then tries to dodge, but even with the dodge skill reroll, fails and falls to the ground. His armour holds, but it causes a turnover for the Lizardmen. The Dukes begin by standing their players up, before Reginald Cobblepot Lee dodges and blitzes Olmox. The Skink's dodge skill coming in handy as he keeps his footing. Dirk then throws a block at Kotelchark, pushing the Saurus back. Gordon Pike and Whittington Down both move about, before Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll and blocks Khorak Zayup, sending the blocker to the ground. But not breaking his armour. Edward Terrid Price then blocks Akan Cho, pushing him back. Trying to knock this particular Saurus down, Oscar Haymayer Black also blocks Akan Cho, but it doesn't work out as an attacker down result is rolled. Thankfully for the Duke, his armour holds, but it causes a turnover. We're now at the halfway point of the first half, and the Lizardmen have decided now is a good time to score. Olmox dodges away from Cobblepot Lee and scores the first touchdown of the game. The Hexoratl Sun Warriors lead 1-0. With both teams setting up for the next drive, the ball is kicked. It looks to land right at the back of the field for the Dukes. The kickoff event is cheering fans. As both teams have the same fan factor, this is just a straight D6 roll-off, which the Lizardmen win. The Sun Warriors make a prayer to Nuffle. The chosen player, in this case Olmox, gains the pro skill for the rest of the game. With the ball landed, the Dukes can begin. Rosie Whittington Down runs back to pick the ball up, while the 3 players on our team form up defensively. Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll before blocking his usual nemesis, Khorak Zayup. He only manages to push the Saurus back. But this means the Dukes can make the numbers count as Terrid Price blocks Glottal Tor with the advantage. Unfortunately it doesn't lead to much, only a push. This lets Geoffrey Cavendish Jones III move into position to support Cobblepot Lee as he blitzes Akan Cho. The charge works, causing the lizard to stumble. But even with a good roll, it's not enough to crack the Saurus' armour. Turn 6 sees Akan Cho getting right back up, while Kotelchark, Heatzo and Olmox charge down the field. Yotztal Yi blocks Dirk, sending the Duke into the dirt. Crixaz Tlee does the same to Haymayer Black. Nearly able to break his armour. Glottal Tor then attacks Terrid Price, knocking the bodyguard down, but otherwise unharmed. Lastly, Khorak Zayup takes a swing at the hulking ogre, causing him to stumble, though not enough to go through his armour either. To end the Sun Warriors' turn, Zir and Chrono take advantage of the gap in the Duke's line and charge down the middle of the field. For the Dukes, their players all stand up. Even Sir Ben after passing his bonehead roll. Rosie Whittington down then runs up the field and attempts a quick pass to Elizabeth Gordon Pike. However, the throw is a dud and misses her target entirely. This ends the Duke's turn almost as quick as it began. With the end of the first half fast approaching, the Hexoratl Sun Warriors make a play for the open ball. First, Cottlchark blitzes Rosie Whittington down, causing her to stumble, but causing no lasting damage. This gives Heatso and Olmox room to move into position, before Zer dodges away from the Dukes and picks up the ball. Zer then attempts a quick pass to Heatso, but, like the Dukes before him, the pass is inaccurate and veers off course, landing in the open and causing a turnover. With so little time remaining, the Dukes are unlikely to score, but they can try to prevent the Lizardmen from extending their lead. Elizabeth Gordon Pike blitzes Olmox, pushing the skink around. Randall Havendish IV then tries to dodge, but falls flat on his face. A stun result means he won't take part for the rest of this half. After that quick turnover, now is a chance for the Sun Warriors to make it 2-0. Olmox dodges away and makes a break for the ball. But disaster. A d6 is rolled to see if he can use his pro reroll, but he can't. And the ball slips away, ending the Lizardmen's turn and any hope they have of scoring again this half. It's impossible for the Dukes to score this turn, so instead they try to make use of their time to take out some opposing players. Gordon Pike blitzes Zir, only managing to push him back, but with nowhere to go, the skink ends up in the crowd. The usually bloodthirsty mob of fans might be taking it easy on the poor skink, as they only stun him, removing him from the pitch. Sir Ben passes his bonehead roll before throwing a block at Kroak Zayup. The Saurus is knocked down, but his armour holds. Cobblepot Lee then blocks Akan Cho with some assistance, causing the Saurus to stumble. But he's otherwise unharmed. Harold Potter Smith II then moves in to help Edward Terred Price as he blocks Glottal Tor, but it backfires as both dice show attacker down. Edward's armour holds, but that ends the Duke's turn and ends the first half. At half time the score is 1-0 in favour of the Hexoratl Sun Warriors. The Lizardmen are down a player, but have the Dunderhaven Dukes learned how to deal with their cold-blooded opponents? Both teams set up. The Dukes are receiving the ball this drive. The kickoff event is a timeout, which essentially means both teams skip the next turn, so we start from turn 10. The Dukes start the half by having Randall Havendish IV pick up the ball. Taffington Wheatley and Gordon Pike move up. Reginald Cobblepot Lee then charges in, making a successful rush roll to blitz Chrono. He only manages to push the skink back, however. The other retainers on the other side of the field move into position. Sir Ben then passes his bonehead roll before blocking Yot Sul Yi, pushing the Saurus back. The Lizardmen begin their turn with Hitso making a dodge roll. Unfortunately he fails, even whiffing his dodge skill reroll. This ends the Sun Warrior's turn immediately. With luck maybe finally on their side, the Dukes take advantage of the Lizardmen's lack of action by attacking the Skinks. Cobblepot Lee begins by blocking Chrono. Knocking the runner to the ground and stunning him. Walter Taffington Wheatley then blocks Zir, pushing the skink back. Cavendish then runs the ball down the field, with Gordon Pike providing support. Harold Potter Smith II then blocks Olmox, knocking him down, but not breaking the skink's armour. Rosie Whittington Down then moves in to mark the Saurus, before Sir Ben throws a block at Yotsol Yi, pushing him back. The Sun Warriors begin their turn by standing Olmox back up. Zir then manages to dodge and move into position. Korak Zayup then blocks Cavendish Jones, knocking him down but not breaking his armour. The same happens to Dirk as Akan Cho blocks him. And again when Glottal Tor blocks Oscar Haymair Black. Crixaz Tlee then repeats the same when he blocks Edward Terrid Price. This all leads to Cottlechark blocking Sir Ben with an advantage. They knock the ogre down, but his armour holds strong. However, this frees up Yotsol Yi to blitz Randall Cavendish IV. After a successful rush check, the charging Saurus only manages to push the blitzer back. The bodyguards all start the Duke's turn by standing up, followed by Sir Ben after passing his bonehead roll. Potter Smith and Taffington Wheatley then move up. With the added support, Cobblepot Lee blitzes Yotsol Yi. A double skulls roll means the Dukes use their one and only reroll of the half, which lets the blitzer push the Saurus back. This opens things up for Randall, who makes a break for the end zone. With only one space left to go, he makes a rush check, but on a roll of a 1 he fails. He trips over at the last possible second, dropping the ball and causing a turnover. The Sun Warriors, wanting to capitalise on the freed ball, move their skinks into position, before Zir dodges away and makes a break for the ball. But a roll of a 1 fails. Even after using one of their 2 rerolls, the ball slips from his grasp and lands on the floor. Another turnover. The Dukes aren't going to let this opportunity slip away, as Harold Potter Smith II blitzes Zir. pushing the skink into the crowd. This leaves the ball in the open for Randall to pick it up and have another go. This time crossing the end zone upright and scoring a touchdown, evening up the scores. As the Dukes kick the ball high into the air, the kick-off event is brilliant coaching. The Hex Rattle Sun Warriors win the roll-off and gain an extra reroll for this drive. With the ball landing, the Sun Warriors go on the offensive as Kotelchark blitzes Gordon Pike, knocking her down. But otherwise unharmed. Chrono then goes to pick up the ball, but has to use that new team reroll almost immediately to make sure that he does. The other skinks all move along the field. Yotsul Yi then blocks Oscar Haymare Black, knocking him down. The other Saurus then blocks Dirk, which does nothing as Dirk's stand firm stops him from being pushed back. Glottal Tor tries to take down Tered Price, but to a similar result. Lastly, Akan Cho knocks down Cavendish Jones to end the turn. The Dukes begin their defence by standing up the players who were knocked down. Rosie and Harold then move up, while Cobblepot Lee gets into a more aggressive position. Walter Taffington Wheatley then blitzes Heatso, pushing the lizard back. Sir Ben then throws a block at Kroak Zayup. Nearly breaking his armour, but the Saurus is fine. Randall then blocks Kotelchark, causing the Saurus to stumble, stunning him. The Sun Warriors react by recovering slightly before Zir blitzes Taffington Wheatley. With the assistance of the other skinks, Zir actually has the advantage, but only manages to push the retainer back. The other skinks then all push forwards. Before Crixas Tlee blocks Haymare Black, knocking him down, but not breaking his armour. Yotsul Yi, now freed up, moves in to support the skinks. This leaves Glottal Tor to block Terrid Price, knocking the bodyguard down. While Akan Cho blocks Geoffrey Cavendish Jones III, but leaving him unharmed. The downed bodyguards get up before Taffington Wheatley blitzes Chrono. Unfortunately for the Dukes, the skink is only pushed back. The rest of the team move into position. While Sir Ben blocks Kurakzay up, throwing the Saurus to the ground, but otherwise unharmed. Lastly, Dirk blocks Krixat's Tully with some assistance. The Sun Warriors are close to scoring, but Taffington Wheatley is in the way. Zer takes a chance and blitzes the retainer, causing him to stumble. Walter is unharmed, but that isn't the important bit. Chrono is now freed up to run straight into the end zone, scoring a touchdown and making the game 2-1 in favour of the Hexeratl Sun Warriors. With only one turn left, it's unlikely the Dukes can equalise, however they might be able to gain some star player points by causing some casualties. The ball is kicked, but the Sun Warriors, emboldened by their recent touchdown, blitz early. Chrono and Hitso move first, before Kotelchark blitzes Oscar Haymayer Black, but only pushes the blitzer back. Now actually able to begin their defence, Reginald Cobblepotley goes to pick up the ball, but immediately fumbles it. With no rerolls, that's the Duke's turnover. Even with this bit of good luck, the Sun Warriors cannot score again, but they too can try for some casualties. Hitso blitzes Haymayer Black, knocking him down. The skink somehow gets through the blitzer's armour, but only stuns him. Krixaz Tlee blocks Terrid Price. Knocking him down but unharmed. Yotsal Yi does the same to Cavendish Jones. While Akan Cho, with a lot of assistance, blocks Sir Ben. With only a push and attacker down result, the Lizardmen use their last reroll, hoping for something better. But the roll's the same. And with that the game comes to an end. The Hexeratl Sun Warriors defeat the Dunderhaven Dukes 2-1. This game was a stalemate in the midfield for much of the game. While the Lizardmen had the strength advantage, the Dukes had an array of defensive skills which make it really hard to overwhelm them. Similarly, the Dukes had a hard time pinning the Skinks down when it mattered. Both teams were hurt by a lack of rerolls, but it really pained the Dukes more. However, even in defeat, the Dukes didn't sustain any injuries, which is more than can be said for the Sun Warriors. As usual, I didn't film the post-game stuff, but after collecting their winnings, neither team really spent anything. The Sun Warriors picked up more star player points, but Nuatpa picking up a niggling injury and missing the next game is going to hurt the team, even if somehow he became the team's MVP. An Apothecary wouldn't be a bad purchase right now, but the Sun Warriors instead are choosing to save up for a Kroxigor. The Dukes are arguably in a better position, with no injuries to report. They too choose not to spend their gold, instead saving up for those vital rerolls. And with that, the league standings after round 1 look like this. The Wildglade Wanderers are clear in the lead. However, after this game, the Sun Warriors have comfortably secured second place. The Nobility have some work to do as they are now bottom of the table. As you can see, the first game of round 2 will be the Borderland Bloodseekers take on the Darkmire Monster Mash. And with that, the first round of the Mischief Cup comes to a close. Keep an eye out here or on my Instagram for news about future videos. And until next time, thank you all very much for watching. Take care.